I'm delighted to announce Capillary Technologies as the new title sponsor for Loyalty TV. Capillary's mission is to bring the loyalty market out of the 1980s and into the present, ditching the slow, chunky manual services of the past. Capillary's all about making loyalty management easy with scalable AI-powered tech that turns loyalty managers into superheroes. Say goodbye to outdated methods and check out the exciting new way to achieve loyalty excellence in 2024. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Let's Talk Loyalty and Loyalty TV. And today is truly a momentous day for me and our team, as you'll hear in today's episode. Today is our 5th birthday, and as the company founder, I couldn't be more proud of the brand we've created, the loyalty leaders we've interviewed, and the impact we've had so far in the global loyalty industry. As part of our birthday story, we're making some significant changes to our business model for Loyalty TV specifically. And we're announcing our biggest ever partnership to date with Capillary Technologies. Capillary Technology Solutions power loyalty programs for some of the biggest brands in the world, including 300 marquee brands across 30 plus countries. They include some of the biggest I've ever heard of, such as the Tata Group with 170 million members, and the upcoming launch of a program for Indigo Airlines, the largest airline in India and now the 6th largest in the world, carrying over 100 million passengers annually. As you'll hear in this episode, Capillary will be bringing all of these incredible clients to share their stories on Loyalty TV. And these video interviews will be exclusively available free of charge on capillarytech.com. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Anish Reddy, founder and CEO of Capillary Technologies, as we today announce our biggest ever partnership and hear the story of their incredible successes in recent years and Capillary's even more exciting plans for the future. So, Anish Reddy, welcome back to Let's Talk Loyalty and welcome for the first time to Loyalty TV.
Thanks, Paula, for having me here today. It's a pleasure to have a chat with you.
Well, honestly, Anish, the pleasure is all mine. As you know, today is a massive milestone for us as a business. We're turning 5 years old from the date that our very first podcast went live back in 2019. And I couldn't be more thrilled than to be celebrating it with you and, of course, announcing our amazing new partnership with Capillary Technologies. So thank you for your faith in us.
5 years is a great milestone, Paula. So big congrats to that. And especially, I think you've been this nice oasis for a lot of the loyalty industry to learn from each other, to have good conversations, to have open conversations. So it's been amazing to see, over the last few years, as I got to know about you, the impact you've had, and wishing Loyalty TV and Let's Talk Loyalty, another 10 years ahead, or more. So, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. Like when I reflect back, Anish, honestly, I mean, the date itself is significant in a personal way, actually, as well as a professional way. So just for anybody who hasn't heard the quick backstory for the show, I'd been plotting and planning, of course, to do the podcast for many months. And even after it was recorded, you never quite know when it's going to go live, actually. So particularly from an Apple perspective, the Apple podcasts, they really say it can take up to 2 weeks for any new podcast to be published. So I wanted to be live in September 2019. I wanted to be first in the industry, and I literally was by one day. But what really, I suppose, thrilled me was I uploaded it on August 21st. And again, allowing the 2 weeks, plenty of time for it to go live. And it went live within a day. And it was also my mother's birthday was August 22nd, Anish. So it's a special day for me. Yeah. So it really felt like she was, blessing this new endeavor that I had. So yeah, it's, as I said, personally as well as professionally, it's a special day and thrilled to have you as part of it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me over on the 5th anniversary. and
Amazing.
this obviously is something very special about the day for you. Your
Yes,
mom's birthday.
totally.
That makes it a lot more special. Uh,
Indeed, absolutely. Yes. So, listen, Anish, let's get into the fun conversation. First of all, you were on our show, actually, of course, in audio format only back in October 2022. And obviously, Capillary's been on a massive growth phase in that kind of, 2 years. I know you are, of course, 15 years in business. But would you mind just for our audience who haven't been as up to date as us in terms of what you've been up to since you were last on the show? Tell us all of the big news and announcements.
no, I think it's been an interesting last few years for us at Capillary, right? So, of course, COVID hit was hard for us. We were a retail tech play, so we had and Asia focused at that point in time. So we had quite a bit of our cash flows evaporated by about 80% for 6 7 months. So we kind of did some rethinking on what we want to do with the business, and cut to today, I think the business is a lot more. Retail is about 40% of our revenues. We now in healthcare. We work with the largest healthcare provider in the world now. We're into oil and gas, into airlines, into travel and hospitality, into conglomerates. So it's been a good. We've kind of diversified the business, de-risked the business a bit from when we spoke last. There's been a lot of good progress on the product as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think we today, uh, I mean, whichever analyst you pick, we are in the top two products on loyalty that they talk about, whether it's Forrester, whether it's Gartner, whether it is, Spark, whether it is Everest, any of them, right? So I think there's been a lot of investment that's gone into making the product multi-vertical, easy to integrate. There've been significant AI investments. You've seen some of the demos that on the generative AI side. So lots of good progress there. In terms of just the company, I think we've grown 4 times in the last 4 years. So it's been crazy growth. And that while we are profitable, we've been profitable for 3 out of the last 4 years, including the last year, right? So it's been an interesting, nice journey,
Oh my God.
and it's been good. We now have 7 Fortune 100 customers in our pipeline. So I'm like, wow, that's as good as it gets. So let's see where this goes. Yeah.
Unbelievable. My goodness. Well, congratulations, Anish. That is a testament to, I know, the incredible dedication you have and the ambition, actually. I always think when I talk to you, and even I did get to attend your conference, your customer conference earlier this year in Dubai as well. And I was blown away by the commitment to being literally the best in the world. So that's obviously coming through. As you said, if the analysts are saying it, if you're in the top two rankings, that's extraordinary achievement. And the diversification, I think, is super interesting because even as recently as this week, I did ask you that specific question. I still associated you with retail particularly, but you've got some amazing case studies. And in fact, it would be remiss, I didn't even ask you our typical opening question. So I need to start with that actually right now, because it does refer to a client of yours. But I was so excited for this fifth birthday story that I even missed that. So that's a first for me. So let me backtrack a little bit, Anish, and tell our audience what is your favorite loyalty program?
No, I think it's Taj. It was the same one that I spoke about, Taj Hotels.
Yeah.
I've been a member for many years now, and we do all our vacations in Taj. We have this annual ritual of both sides, parents and the kids, and both of us going for our. So no, I think it's they personalize it a fair bit, right? And the good piece they do is I think they allow the staff to make you feel special. Like I'll give you this small instance, right? So we were there for our anniversary early this year, and we polished off. It was just me and my wife, and we polished off a few bottles of wine. And my wife woke up with a little bit of a heavy head, and the person came to clean up the room in the morning, and then he saw that she was having a slight headache, and And then he got him a lime juice for the hangover. And the good part was it was not on the bill. So it was kind of from them saying, look, stuff like that, right? It's small things like that which I think go beyond just the
Yeah.
program and just the uh, and lots of stuff like that. Like I mean, I think they have it well captured. That what kind of a room do we like? What do the kids like? Some of that. So it just makes life far more easier, right? So it's far beyond just the points you earn and the membership and some of that.
Yeah. Well, it's a brilliant example, Anish, and sweet and amusing and very human. I mean, of course, we talk on this show a lot about emotional loyalty, and there it is, right there. And that's way beyond, as you said, anything to do with the technology platform. And I know they are a client of yours, but that's not the point. The point is they have all of the basics in place in terms of the product, and then they go with what does Anish need and his wife this morning on this particular heavy celebration. So very well done to Taj. It's a long time actually since I've stayed in a Taj hotel, Anish, so they're on my wish list. So I know they do have a property, I think in Cape Town, where I'm going shortly. So please God, I'll get to
Perfect.
experience that. So listen, you've talked now, of course, about what's been going on recently. I'm sure most people listening to this show and watching us on Loyalty TV saw the big fundraising round in February that was announced, your Series D of $140 million. So congratulations on all of that. I think what I particularly liked about that, and you were telling me earlier this week, Anish, was I suppose the amount of market research that you had to do on loyalty marketing, of course, in order to raise that level of fundraising with savvy investors, dare I say it. So you've shared some incredible statistics with me that I've never heard before. So would you mind talking through what you've kind of learned about the scale of the global loyalty market and the size of the opportunity?
Right. I think so. Yeah. So whenever you raise a large sum of money, you have to convince a lot of smart people, right, that the business is worth it and all of that. I think where it also helps is you also build conviction along with it, right? And we've always wanted to build the best loyalty company out there in the world. And so the question I always would get asked is, "Hey, it's a niche. Are you sure this can be large?" Right. So we the last few years we spent a lot of time mapping the market out, saying, look, how many industries is this relevant to? And all kinds of loyalty, right? Not just retail, but consumer, B2B, healthcare, and some of that. We think roughly about 70 to 80% of the Fortune 2000 in each of the markets would find loyalty relevant. There'll always be some businesses which don't find loyalty relevant, right? That's, let's say, the 25 to 30% of the businesses. So you're, let's say, give and take, looking at 1,500 large companies in the US, in Europe, in Asia as potential customers. We play in the large enterprise space, as you know, Paul. I'm sure loyalty is relevant to a lot of the smaller businesses as well. But just our stack and the depth of the stack and some of that mean that we better align for large enterprises. Now the good piece is these large enterprises spend anything from $1 million to, we now have a customer who'll get to spending about 80 million a year on us on on what we do for them. So it is a large
Wow.
spend, right? I mean, it's a Fortune 5. I can't name them. The guess is
Wow.
yours. But so it is a very large market, so anything from $1 million to, multi tens of millions is what people end up spending, customers end up spending. So it's anything between a 6 billion to a $10 billion addressable market as an industry, right? So again, I think it kind of corroborates with the data that you gave the other day that there are about 12,000 loyalty managers on LinkedIn, right?
Mm.
And my gut is, you have to be a certain sized company, probably $1 billion or more in revenues, to have a dedicated loyalty manager in the profile. So it's probably so yeah. I think it's a large industry. It's been an industry that's been there since, I don't know, 1960s, right? So and I think it's very important for all of our customers, especially in environments like this, where it's important to retain more than just spend on acquisitions of customer and things like that, right? So, and I think we're in a pretty nice place. I think there's a lot of technology shift that's happened in the last 10 years and is happening even now, right? So whether you look at the cloud, whether you look at mobile, whether you look at social, and now of course Gen AI and the broader AI parts. So yeah, I think we're in a great place to kind of disrupt, a nice niche industry. And what we love about it is the fact that there is an art and science to loyalty, right? So it's not without the good work that a good program design at the start can do, which a bunch of our partners and companies we work with do. There's a lot of art to this as well, right? So which kind of makes sure that you can't commoditize a business like this out, right? So we do think it's a nice place to build a lasting company for the next 20-25 years. Right? So
Indeed. Yeah, very well said, Anish. And I suppose from our perspective, we're very much on the art rather than the science. And I do think we very much have the shared goal, I suppose, of helping loyalty managers to do better work because I know they want to. Certainly that was my pain point and that the whole reason I started the show. And you guys are there as well to support and educate and I suppose get everyone bang up to speed. Of course, I looked at all of your AI demo videos, which I'll make sure we link to in the show notes for this episode as well, because obviously AI wasn't even, an idea when I was running programs kind of 10 years ago. So lots of stuff you've already mentioned in terms of the developing the product. But even before we get into what AI is doing for loyalty managers, Anish, would you mind just, I suppose, summarizing what you're hearing from the kind of projects that you're bidding for and, what's happening in terms of the RFPs? Because it definitely resonated with me when you talked about, I suppose, the numbers that are coming through. I know you're a very collaborative guy and you do talk to a lot of your competitors, of course, as well as friends in different sectors. So RFPs are something that are close to everyone, watching this show. And there is actually quite a small number. And of course, within those, there's an even smaller number that do ultimately make a decision to come onto a new platform like the Capillary Technologies for the first time. So what are you hearing from loyalty managers that you talk to at any stage of the RFP process?
right. So, for a lot of our conversations, Paula, we do a very deep discovery. We try to understand what the pain point of our customers is. And usually what happens is, these are very smart people who really want to make an impact on the business. And, but, where they struggle with is, running a simple campaign in an oldish software, means that it'll take you 2 months. You go to your agency, and they'll run some manual analysis, and then you have to use 5 tools. It's a little bit of a broken thing, right? So from promise to performance, I think is a big gap, right? So we hear a lot of that. We hear a lot of stuff around saying, look, promotions take forever. We're not able to personalize well. We hear a lot of stuff around, reporting and analytics taking forever. That I mean, I can totally understand coming up with a strategy takes 2-3 months and is very important, right? But how did your campaign run last week? Or some basic stuff should be like straight out of the tech, right? A few clicks, you should have it out, right? So that's something we hear quite a bit again from a lot of our customers. We do hear this piece around, I think loyalty is also changing. I think 20 years ago, loyalty was about, getting a membership, saving some points, and things like that. But today, I think, the world has changed, right? I mean, I think for the Gen Z, I think people want it here and now. It's about experiences. It's about, can you recognize me? Things like that. So we're seeing a lot more interest in gamification. We're seeing a lot more interest in things like badges, things like, can you keep me engaged between transactions, right? So between, can I play a game on the app? Can you, have a trivia for me? Stuff like that, right? So more interesting stuff there. We're seeing a lot of brands saying, look, can we go beyond just discounts or redeeming points for discounts and do more of rewards, more of collectibles, more of things that are, drive more emotional value.
Mm.
And as you know, Briley has a very good emotional loyalty quotient tracker. And we're seeing more of that play out quite a bit, right? So the other thing we're of course seeing across the industry is this question on, should on the cost of making technology changes is very high,
Mm.
unfortunately today, right? I think with the cloud, it comes down a little bit. There's a lot of pre-integrations available, but we're definitely seeing more of our customers saying, "Look, we want to run a POC for a month. We want to see if the integrations is easy. We want to see if how much of a heavy lift is it on our side, right?" So we're seeing some of these. In fact, some of the investments that we made of late on the Gen AI side, or building a lot of extensions to our platform so that you can integrate a lot faster. Right? Earlier, what would happen is, if you had to integrate with a loyalty platform, it'd be like a 1 year, 1 year roadmap, and your IT teams, your system integrators, all of them will have to get involved. We're saying, can we change that? Can we make it easy that you continue to use the same API endpoints that you had as a business, and then we do the transposition on our side as Capillary, right? So instead of taking a lot of time and a lot of resources to go live, all that you have to do as a business is just a quick QA test at the end, making sure that it's all working well, and you're fine, right? So we've now migrated a couple of customers like that. Hertz being a good example there. Large, complex program. It's been around for 30 plus years, and the entire migration took about 3-4 months end to end. And their team literally had no line of code to write, right? So it was pretty interesting. So we invest in investing on some of that, because I think we see the intent from a lot of businesses to say loyalty has to move out of the 80s. We can't use this clunky tech with companies founded in the 80s. But then the mountain to move, right, is the 50 integrations, the 40 feed files you have, and all of that, right? So that's what we hear, right? So the integrations, more AI, more verticalization. So you don't have a lot of features you need to build each time when you go live, or over a period of time, are kind of the investments that we're hearing, we're making based on the feedback we're getting from prospects and customers. We roughly get about 50 to 50-ish RFPs a year. So it's a good large set of RFPs and conversations to track from. I think the market gets about 100, 150 RFPs, if you ask me. So it's much smaller than the 4,500 customers out there. So I'm hoping that we can together, move the industry forward. Right? I think the industry has been stuck in old technology, has been stuck in slow ways of, waiting for promotions, waiting for reports, not being able to react to what's happening in the market quickly. I'm hoping that all of us together can, supercharge the loyalty industry over the next 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, the Hertz example, I know we're going to bring them onto Loyalty TV to get, of course, the full story and the inside track in terms of their legacy program and platform. But extraordinary to hear that something of that scale and with that level of, again, global customer base and member base managed to transition so seamlessly. So the proof is in the pudding. And I know for sure what I hear from people, whether it's on air or off air, Anish, a lot of the time what the industry would say is they're really worried that even if they do, like and believe whoever is chosen, as the successful vendor after an RFP, it's always a concern. Like, is that really going to be our experience as a brand when we go to execute? So you've just obviously delivered on exactly that with Hertz. So a great client, a great brand. You must be super proud.
Yep. I think it's been an interesting last 4 5 years. We've the
Yeah.
number of Fortune. We now have 16 Fortune 200 customers. I think 3 years ago we had two or three. So it's been
Wow.
we're adding one a
Yeah.
quarter almost. So it's been good. The other thing we're seeing is a lot of large logos. I don't want to name the customers again, wanting to do a POC first, right? Basically saying, look, I think how much is this real, right? How much is this whole API first, microservices architecture, ability to make small changes very quickly? Can we play with the tool ourselves? Can we, because when everyone tells a good story, right? So it's
Exactly.
important to go under the hood, open it up, see whether So we now actually have a full POC module where we give you Postman scripts, we onboard you for a month, we give you APIs which you can call, test out. So then you're a lot more sure that yeah, I mean this is worth migrating, this is worth making that investment, and yeah, so.
I've never heard of that before. And I think what that does is actually, of course, it's the ultimate tool in terms of building belief. Because again, I
Right.
know what we've all done again is, talk to people who are, proven clients. But we all know as well that of course the references that are given are of course always the best clients. So it's a great step to go through, but there is nothing like getting under the hood, as you said. So I love that you're able to do that and literally say, look, we're putting our money where our mouth is. You get to use the tool directly, and then there's no surprises. So yeah, so I really like that. I've never heard of that before. So that sounds like a very effective way to help people be reassured about the decisions they're making.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great, great. And tell us some of the other ones, Anish. You told me off air. I know there's an airline and it's not live yet, but I think you can share and announce exactly who that airline is because it's unbelievable in terms of, I hadn't realized how big they were globally until you mentioned it. So do you want to share about the new airline client you guys are about to launch?
Yeah, no, I think, they're also on our website. And I'm very hopeful we go live in the next month or two. Again, it's, I think from signing paperwork to going live is less than 6 months for an airline of that size. Uh, you know, uh, so it's Indigo. They hopefully go live in the next 2 months. For those of you who don't know, Indigo is the largest airline in India. They have, I think, a 60% plus market share today in the airline industry in India. They fly 100 million passengers every year, actually, and they've doubled in the last 2 years, last 3 years, and I think they'll double again in the next five. So it's just crazy. They have this very nice punchline, which is India by Indigo, which is so true because they've connected just so many small towns, all these small places with the metros that suddenly you see India is flying, right? So it's just a very nice feeling when you see people of all classes, of all of various parts of India just suddenly flying, right? So it's makes me feel great, right? So. Yeah, and they're now the sixth largest. When we started speaking to them, which was probably a year and a half ago, they were the eighth largest airline in the world. They're the sixth largest airline in the world now in terms of number of passengers. They are the third most valuable airline globally. Uh, behind I think Ryanair, Delta, and so it's a great brand, great people, like quality of people they have is just amazing. So we're looking to do some really cool stuff for them. There's some very interesting, unheard of features which you will see when the program goes live. But looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay, so we definitely need them on Loyalty TV as well, Anish. That sounds amazing.
Yep. Yep. Once they go live, I'll try and see if we can get Neetan or Kaushal to come and
Amazing.
have a chat. Yeah.
Well, it does make me laugh that, there's this extraordinary business, as you said, 100 million passengers a year. I had no idea they were that big. I've never flown with them. Of course, I think there's increasingly around the world, everybody realizes that India, I think, is already now the most populous country on the planet. Am I right? Or is it still just tying with China? I'm not sure.
I think we just went ahead of China last year, from what I remember. But that's hopefully it will be a country with great demographics in terms of just quality of life as well, right? So
Indeed.
not just the
Yes,
population, but yeah. But again,
indeed.
Indigo is 17 years old as a business. It's amazing that in 17 years they've gone to
Yeah.
100 million passengers, right? So
Wow.
yeah, it's a great company, just great talent and very very well run business. Probably amongst the best we've seen.
Wow. Brilliant. And of course, again, you did have them on stage at your Captivate conference back in April of this year. But I'd love you just to touch on your other, I suppose, incredible client, which, our audience may or may not know the name of Tata Group. But again, another Indian conglomerate, which I know you guys have been very close to and obviously doing exceptional work for. Would you mind just giving us an overview of that as well? Because just the scale of their loyalty activities, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, no, I think conglomerates is again for is a large part of Asia, right? Whether you look at the Alpha Thames in the Middle East, or whether you look at folks like the Tatas or the Birlas in India, or you look at Masan, right, in Vietnam, and these are all customers of ours. We see a lot of play there of saying, look, it's the same consumer. They're coming to buy from a Tata brand or from a Alpha Thames brand or from a Masan. Uh, and can we treat them as one across the entire group? Can we give them benefits across the entire group, right? So the Blue program of Alphatin in the Middle East runs on us. The Tata Neo program in India runs on us. Masan's program in Vietnam is launching on us as well. And each of these companies probably have 30-40% of the households in each of these markets as, or probably more, 50-60% of the households in each of these markets as customers, right? So with the Tatas, it's again you saw them speak at the event as well. So it's one program across the $100 billion dollar revenue group. So right from Starbucks to Air India to Taj Hotels to their apparel formats to their jewelry formats to all the businesses that you can talk about, right? So they now on back of that program, they now launched a credit card with the country's largest private sector bank, HDFC. And in 1 year, they have more credit cards than American Express has had in 20 years in India. Right? It's just the scale of that. So today, that program, the Tatas, it's 170 million members on the program. It's I don't know. I think it's about 10 million something. This little less than 10 million transactions a day. So it's serious scale. It's one program across, and it's amazing benefits, right? So you could kind of earn everywhere, burn anywhere you want to. They've also done a great job on personalizing. Some of that. Uh, so it's a yeah, I mean, when they signed us up about 4-5 years ago, I think it was a monumental moment for us in Capillary. And we're very proud that, with the complexity they have, I think we deliver a 99.99% uptime. And generally, it's been a lot of learning for us, a lot of value added. Uh, uh, so, yep. We should actually have them. If you're interested, I can connect them to have
100%. Yeah.
because that's as
Yeah.
complex a project as it can be. Just so many. They have 30 public companies in India. So each of these businesses is an independent, large, multi-billion dollar market cap public company, right? So
My brain is just firing on all cylinders, Anish, just thinking about that. So please, of course, we'd love to have them on the show. 170 million members. Like I've often thought, even just for my own, curiosity, like I'd love to just do a table of the biggest loyalty programs in the world, because so many of us do loyalty research and we look maybe to the West, or we look to more, considered mature markets, and then we hear these programs are running, and I, for one, never knew until you brought them to the conference. So definitely let's do an episode with them, Anish. That's absolutely an incredible story.
Okay.
Brilliant, brilliant. So listen, we've touched on an awful lot. For me, I suppose the key things that I'm hearing from you is, I suppose on the B2B side, in terms of our audience, loyalty managers, there is, I suppose, always a shared concern that you're very keen, of course, to build in terms of the reassurance that the simplicity is finally available. So even though, integrations and changing platforms historically has been seen as long, complex, and something that just couldn't be imagined, it's definitely something now. The key message, I guess, is it can be done quickly, relatively easy, with the proof of concept. So, to, I suppose, start to move beyond those legacy concerns. And I see your tagline there, say goodbye to 80s loyalty. And again, with the best will in the world, like when I was running programs, which is probably 10 years ago now, I had all of these issues that you talked about in terms of going to the agency to build a promotion, going to them to get a report. And even then I remember thinking, this is bonkers, there's there has to be a software that could do this. So I think there's a lot going on the industry side. So I'm very reassured that I suppose your focus is two things, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but one, I hear the ambition to be the best loyalty technology in the world. And secondly, that you are really committed to helping loyalty managers do their job better, because if they're successful, you'll be successful.
Yep, absolutely. So I think, um, uh, I spoke about this, right? I think there's in general, if you talk to CXOs, they tell you that there's a lot of promise on loyalty, but the performance is and when you dig deeper, it's because if you want to personalize, you need to have 20 creatives, and that's a lot of work, right? So that's like a month added, right? So the question that we had was, why can't we use generative AI to kind of get you to those 20 creatives, and we have a creatives co-pilot. Now, interestingly, what we've done with GenAI is we've picked up all these use cases, which are, where does the loyalty manager, what are these small use cases which kind of slow down a loyalty manager, right? Creatives is one. The second is just getting the reporting out, right? That how did my campaign do? Who should I run this campaign on? Things like that. Standard use cases. I'm not saying, we are trying to eat into strategy or deep analytics. I still believe that, we need a lot of art and loyalty, right? So, but the basic use cases like, customizing creatives, getting your reporting out, you want to run a promotion. Can we make it as simple as typing in natural English, that this is what I want to run? And then it shows up, it configures, and then you just have to confirm saying, yeah, it configured it right. Right. So we still want to avoid the hallucination issues that you have with AI, and hence all our investments have been on the co-pilot side, right? Whether it's a creatives co-pilot, whether it's the data analytics co-pilot, whether it is the promotions co-pilot, and finally this whole use case of customer service, right? Today, for a customer service agent to understand why did some promotion apply, why did something not apply, and there's we see that a lot, right? Customers calling and saying, "Look, I didn't get my points, I didn't get my, all of that," right? So we've kind of, and it's on our website as well. So basically, trying to apply some of the new advancements in GenAI to make what would have probably taken a few days for a loyalty manager to be a few minutes, right? And remove this dependency on saying, "Look, I have to constantly go out to get something done." Right? Can I do it in house? Can I do it on more than in house? Can I do it here and now? Right? Can I just and I don't think it would have been possible to do 4-5 years ago. But I think some of the changes in GenAI, all those videos are live, right? That you've seen. We now have beta customers for it, and as some of our customers have seen some of that stuff, we actually had to go in and say we are stopping any more betas, right? We're stopping any more. So till the end of the year, we have a set of customers. Now we are going deeper on the Gen AI stuff, uh, but yeah, I think the biggest gap between promise to performance is not intent, is not good thoughts. It's just the ability to execute. And I think with Gen AI that changes significantly. So I'm hoping the rest of the ecosystem is also as excited about applying Gen AI and making those investments to get stuff done, right? Because it needs a much more nimbler architecture to be able to integrate. For us, we could come up with some of this in barely a month or two, because we are a microservices first architecture. It's all API led. So so the teams could just call whatever API they wanted, and get going. We're now in fact investing in moving some of this out of OpenAI and into our own private LLMs, so that for a large enterprise, they don't need to bother about, oh, is this any of this is this going out of their estate? Some of that. So very excited about that. I do think we could increase speed to delivery from months to at least days, if not hours, with some of this.
Well, honestly, I mean, I am convinced, Anish. Again, everybody is talking about AI, constantly, and I tend to wonder, is it real? Is it not? And for sure, I mean, the videos on your website, there's four of them there. So for anyone listening, if you do want to see what's possible with I think that would be the absolute best use of 5 minutes of your time today, just to kind of see those demos, because again, compared to what I was doing when I was running programs. And I know there's a lot of that technology still around. So very inspiring to see it coming into our industry finally in a way that obviously has a clear understanding of the pain points. And, as you said, from promise to performance, actually, you've used that term now a couple of times, Anish. So I've written that down. I think that's something that we all need to focus on.
Yep. And I'm hoping we can move the industry forward in that.
Totally, totally. Listen, I don't want to take too much more of your time, Anish. I know you have a busy day ahead, but it would be remiss if we didn't talk about the future. So you've given us amazing insight in terms of what Capillary is working on and has been working on, all of the success you've achieved, the incredible clients that you've already onboarded. But what's next for the business? What are you looking forward to?
I think we've been very blessed, Paula, to have great folks working with us for many, many years, right? So, in a company which is about 700 people, full-time employees, we have over 100 who've spent more than 10 years with us, right? So that's, and we're a tech startup. People don't last in tech for, and the average lifetime in a startup is 2 years, right? So, uh, and I think we've always had this collective ambition or collective vision to build the best loyalty company globally, right? In our small niche, build the best product, build the best company globally, and and I do think if we want to continue playing on that, it'll be important that we stay private, or we stay independent more than private, right? We stay independent. I've generally just seen when large, these mega vendors or these mega companies end up buying loyalty companies, all of them have gone sidewards or downwards, right? It's just very unfortunate. So, uh, and I think it's because loyalty is a different business, right? It is a niche. There is, you need software, good software to accelerate, but you need the human side to it. You need the services side to it. You need the strategy side to it. You need some smart thinking. Only software, I don't think will cut it, right? And hence you need a slightly different kind of a mindset than the typical software buyers or the services buyers. So at least our goal, Paula, on Capillary, is to take it public in the next few years, because we think that's the right way to build a loyalty business, and rather than be part of a larger company or any of that, right? So we'll hopefully list in the next couple of years. And the company is profitable. We're growing very well. So we some of those tick boxes to to go out and list. It'll be an India listing. So yeah, that's what's in the future. Otherwise, in terms of just the product and technology, we're doubling down on AI. We're doubling down on making the vertical specific. Making the product specific to verticals. Like
Mm-hmm.
do a oil and gas or a fuel stack, do a healthcare stack, do a and the intent again being how can we get you to market sooner, right? As a loyalty manager, how can we try not to get you stuck in this 2 year migration or 2 year plan to get somewhere, right? So and of course the third piece is just the whole piece around integrations, extensibility, making it easier for larger enterprise, right? So lots
Yeah.
happening. It's we're more excited than we ever been.
Yeah.
And we turn 16 next month. And it still feels like we have another. I actually feel like a Series A company, which has just raised a humongous 140 million. But yeah, it's interesting times. Yeah.
It totally is. My God, interesting, exciting, and inspiring, actually, all of the above. So, definitely with an IPO on your roadmap, I can imagine that'll keep you incredibly busy. I think the important thing from our side as well is to say that what we're, I suppose, committed to doing is, of course, making sure that all of these incredible case studies that we've talked about on this show are available, particularly on an exclusive basis, free of charge, on capillarytech.com. So, as a business, what we've realized is, of course, we need to move Loyalty TV into a paid subscription model in order to be able to continue creating such content. But with your support, we are absolutely able to make them available on a continuous basis free of charge. And we'll be sending all of our viewers directly over to your website to a wonderful new section where all of these incredible interviews of Loyalty TV will be made available. So thank you for your support on that side.
So, Paula, thanks for allowing us to be a part of the ecosystem and part of the journey, right? So, no, I think you've done some incredible work, and I think there's lots of value. So, totally understand the subscription side. I think happy to have some of those videos on our site for loyalty managers and enthusiasts in the industry to get a quick access to.
Amazing. Yeah. I think what I've always loved with you guys is that shared purpose that we really want those loyalty managers to be able to do their jobs better. As you've said, there's no shortage of brilliant people out there, super smart, and just want to have all the latest insights and the latest news. So together we'll be delivering that going forward. So on that note, is there anything else that you wanted to mention, Anish, before we wrap up?
No, congrats again. 5 years is a great milestone. I'm hoping you're taking some time off and enjoying the and not doing the usual startup going from one thing to the next thing happen. So yeah, congrats again and wishing you a great next 15, 20 years, right? So
amazing. Thank you so much. So, Anish Reddy, founder and CEO of Capillary Technologies, thank you so much from Let's Talk Loyalty and Loyalty TV.
thank you.